Right on. Hi, I'm Adrian from rocksellermagazine.com. Thank you for
What's up?
adding me to your media blitz.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Good, from beautiful Chatsworth, California.
Hey.
Thanks to your book, my wife and I know that you and her share a bond because you both vomited at the same Soundgarden concert in LA.
Listen, I got really excited for that show, maybe a little too excited. And then afterwards was so inspired that I took it to the next level and wound up in my front yard throwing up all over the place.
The performance was just
and you know, here's the thing. I have thrown up since I was 12 years old 3 times. I'm physically incapable of vomiting. So that's how good the fucking Soundgarden show was.
I agree. That one was good. That was a very good show. On that topic of vomiting, you've only done it 3 times in your life, like you say, but you do it a lot fake in the movie, kind of as a nod to old horror movies. So
what could be more disgusting than rivers of vomit coming out of a musician's mouth? It's just fucking gross. It was written into the script, and then when we, when we were filming it, and I saw the volume of fake puke that was coming out of this hose, I thought, it goes along. It's very reminiscent of the Monty Python movie, Meaning of Life, where there's the man in the restaurant bombing ever. So I was laughing as we were doing it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so disgusting.
I remember I laughed at it because it kept going too. Exactly.
Yes, it's always funnier when it keeps going. Yeah. It's disgusting.
And on that, and also on that note of acting, you've acted, you've directed a bunch of stuff, you've acted in all your videos, but now you're in a movie. What's harder or tougher or more challenging, acting or versus directing?
Well, the things that I've directed, the documentaries I've directed, it's a whole other intention. Whether it's Sound City or Sonic Highways or What Drives Us, as I'm interviewing the people or directing and sitting in the edit, it's really meant to inspire other people to discover music and play music themselves by humanizing the whole process. So there's not a lot of fantasy there. We're basically like lifting the veil on everything and saying, this is how simple and human it really is. Even like the most iconic artists, it's very much a human endeavor. With the horror film, it's like you're reaching way outside of reality in an attempt to entertain or disgust someone. So very, very different, very, very different, and different process too. Like we're doing a documentary. When I sit down to interview someone, they say action, and I just have a conversation. I very rarely hold questions, and I'm learning as much as the viewer as I'm doing this. With the film, oh my god, there's so much like hurry up and wait, and the prosthetics and the makeup and the script and the take after take. Very, very different process, but both really fun. These are things that we wouldn't do these things if they weren't enjoyable to the band. We don't do anything unless it's enjoyable to the band.
And there are a lot of prosthetics in the film because the attention to detail with the music. I know John Carpenter was involved. The set design, the statues. I noticed the creepy statues in all the rooms. The little Foo Fighter ray gun in the raccoon dungeon, which was a cool ad. You guys were really, you and BJ McConnell and on the whole crew were going for the horror movie angle versus just a silly thing with the Foo Fighters. Yeah.
Well, originally, none of us imagined we were going to make a full-length feature film. We thought, in true Foo Fighters fashion, it would just be some low-budget run-and-gun thing, maybe a long-form video that would make people laugh, But we made the mistake of hiring the most talented people in town to make the film with us. BJ, he's a legitimate badass that's worked on some really, really amazing films. And Tony Gardner, who did the special effects. That guy, he's full fucking Hollywood legend. And then the entire crew. The crazy thing is, most of these people are used to working on actual films, like legitimate fucking blockbuster movies. But they were called and said, hey, do you want to do a horror film with the Foo Fighters? And they all knew, okay, this is going to be fun. And so all of us were there really just to have fun. And it turned out great. You know, I think we were surrounded by a like-minded group of people that were there just to fucking have a good time.
And then like Jenna Ortega, for example, she's been everything I've seen recently. And then I turned on Foo Fighters Sirius Radio and she's playing Summer's End and Floaty and Weenie Beanie. And I was like, okay, so now there's a real Foo Fighter fan in the cast. What was it like with her? She wasn't on the screen a lot, but what was it like working with her?
You know, honestly, I felt really bad for Jenna because a lot of her scenes, she was in that sort of demonic ghoul costume. And in order to do the special effects in CGI afterwards, they were wearing these kind of almost like a full body suit, which covered their face as well.
Oh.
They had these little blinking red lights on their eyes. They had to be led to set because they couldn't see what was going on. Wow. I felt terrible for them, all of them. But Jenna, the scene at the end, the pool scene where we actually had a chance to act together. Right. When I was there with her and watching her do this, I'm like, okay, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Like this one, she's real. And when you're on screen with someone or on set with someone that actually knows what they're doing, you're just crossing your fingers, hoping, I hope I don't fuck this up. Because there's a real professional. I'm just a jackass here, you know.
Are we gonna hear the doomy heavy metal riffs you guys cut in the movie like released at some point?
I'll just say that we have found the lost Dream Widow record that they were making before the singer killed the band.
Very intriguing.
The tapes have been uncovered.
Okay. And so the Encino House wasn't actually haunted. I found that out yesterday in a different interview you did. But did you base any of the moodiness of the thing on your Seattle experience in the 90s and that house you had that was haunted?
Not so much as all of our favorite horror films from when we were kids. I mean, if you look at the premise of the movie, take the rock and roll out of it. Right. There's a gateway to hell in the basement. That's fucking Amityville Horror. You know what I mean? Someone becomes possessed and starts killing everyone. That's the fucking Exorcist. Everyone's isolated in this house and someone goes insane. That's The Shining. So it's like, you know, we took a lot of these simple ideas from our favorite films and just kind of stirred them around in the pot and added a little bit of rock and roll. But that was the thing that sets this one apart from all of those movies is that it's a rock and roll movie. It's a band movie, and people stopped making those a long time ago. It's a shame because as an ensemble on stage, you're used to your favorite band making music, but take them and put them in this other medium, and all of a sudden it just shines a new light, and it's just meant to entertain. You know, we grew up watching those rock and roll movies, and now we have one of our own.
What's a quick aside to music again? What's a song you wish you wrote?
Like for real, wish I wrote?
For real, whatever. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wish you could say, man, that's mine.
I was actually just talking about this song not long ago. There's a song by an artist from the 70s called Andrew Gold. Andrew Gold, he wrote a song called Lonely Boy. He wrote Thank You for Being a Friend. He was kind of like an AM 70s radio god. Right. Well, he had this song called Never Let Her Slip Away. That is one of the sweetest love songs I've ever heard. But musically, it's on par with fucking Beethoven. I promise you. Melodically, it's one of the most complex arrangements I've ever heard in my life. And still to this day, I listen to it. I'm like, God, how did he do that? Like, that being said, I could say the same thing for 100 other songs. Let's just say this. Any song that's not a Foo Fighters song, I wish I fucking wrote.
All right. They gave me the 1 minute warning. So 2 things real quick. I think Come Back is one of your most underrated, underappreciated songs. And I would love to see it play live at some point. And
noted.
The last question was, I'm blanking now on the time limit running out. I've had your barbecue. Chris was rude to say it was charred and dry.
Well, listen, you're allowed to be critical of my barbecue. I promise I will not stuff you in the grill and stab you to death. I won't. Right. But I do take pride in my barbecue. Gotta be honest. I work hard on that shit.
I appreciate that. Awesome. Thank you very much, Dave. Best of luck with the movie. It's bananas.
It is bananas. Thanks, Adrian.
Later.
See you. Bye.